his daddy went whiskey, the son he drove alone. And when his engine roared, they called the highway Thunder Road. There was thunder, thunder, open thunder road. Thunder was his engine, and white lights and was his load. There was moonshine, moonshine, right to devil's fire. But all they swore they kill him, but the devil got him through.
Lose on the track, you go home. Lose with a load of shine, you go to jail. It's time to go bootlegger racing, boys. Yeah!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're welcoming you back here to the old Yadkin Valley Speedway as we bring you more exciting racing action here on the Cousin Ricky Presents the Bootlegger Run Semifinals round, sponsored by Merch by Mike.
We're down to the last 12 drivers, including yours truly, and decide who's moving on to the finals round.
That's right, Ricky. We have 2 heat races to decide who will be our final 6 drivers moving on to the grand finale of this great series.
And what an amazing series it's been, filled with some of the best lead changes, hardcore dirt banging action, and some of the most spectacular wrecks I have ever seen.
Well, I'm not going to throw out any accusations, but I have to say I think your free samples had just a little something to do with your spectacular wreck.
Oh, come on, surely you're not going to blame me for the on-track chaos.
Ricky, I'm not the only one blaming you, as you have been clearly seen around other tracks causing the same problems, and don't call me Shirley.
I cannot confirm nor deny my involvement in any other track. And really, Funk, you're gonna go with that joke?
Why? It's a classic.
A classic? More like it's corny, overused, and outdated.
Speaking of overused and outdated, what is over that ambulance, and does that say meat wagon? And why is it over there at your van, Ricky?
Oh, that thing? That's our all-new paramedics, the Appalachian Wee-Woo crew.
The Appalachian what? Oh, come on, you cannot be serious, Ricky.
And not to worry, they all come prepared with Cousin Ricky's famous elixir for any ailment one of our drivers may have.
Wait, what? Who approved this?
He had to sign a paper shortly after he made you take his elixir when you were sick.
He did what?
Hey, who let Bubba Jones to the booth?
I'll just see my way out now.
Where do you think you're going? You can't just drop a nugget like that and then leave. Hey, come back here.
I'd say I can't believe what just happened, but who are we all kidding? It's Ricky. But anyways, enough talking. Let's get down for these driver introductions. In round 2, he had one of the hardest fought battles for the lead, but came out on the top. Now he's on the pole position for Gravity Throttle Racing at Speedball Herman. After falling all the way back to 5th place, he was able to battle his way back up to the front and make a last lap pass for the win. For Nick Dearest Racing, it's Wendell Scott. After getting knocked all the way to the back of the pack in round 2, he was able to claw his way back up for a 2nd place finish. For Hot Nuts Diecast, it's Craigster Sr. In round 2, he wanted to win so hard he put the chrome horn to use, but unfortunately came up with a 2nd place finish. For Raw Sun God Racing, it's Raw Sun God. He had one of the hardest wipeouts and recoveries in all the old Yadkin Valley Speedway and was able to save a 3rd place finish. For Chase Family Racing, it's End Count. After surviving most of round 2 in the mid-pack, he took advantage of a last lap pass for a 3rd place finish. For Uncle Elvis Racing, it's Uncle Elvis. And here they are, ladies and gentlemen, your drivers for Heat Group 1 of the Cousin Ricky Presents the Bootlegger Run Semifinals. Now let's get down for some great racing action. Starting in that front inside pole position is going to be Speedball Herman with Wendell Scott right there next to him. On the 2nd row, it's going to be Craigster Sr. with Ross Sun God in 4th. Then you have In Crown in 5th place with Uncle Elvis in 6th. As we have 6 laps to determine who's moving on to the finals, it's lap 1. Heading down the backstretch into turn 1, it's Wendell Scott with the lead over Speedball Herman. Oh, Wendell Scott gets turned sideways. He gets slammed by both Ron Sun God and Speedball Herman. He saves it coming out of the chicane. Here comes Speedball Herman with the lead. Here comes Craigster Sr. with a bump. They're challenging the lead and they come down to the line. Speedball Herman's going to hang on to that lead. Oh, by Craigster Sr. And Wendell Scott's going to save it for 3rd place.
Whew, how about that way to start off our semifinals round?
Where did you come from, Ricky? You know what? It doesn't matter. Let's watch the replay camera as you watch Wendell Scott turns on his side, going through the S-turns. Then he gets struck by Speedball Herman. Then Raw Sun God, as he gets pushed into turn 2, he somehow straightens it out just before entering into the chicane and able to save it.
Now, how about that battle for the lead?
Watching him come out of turn 3, you see Speedball Herman hits the wall just slightly, losing momentum. Here comes Craig Craigster Sr. trying to use his chrome horn as he makes a move underneath Speedball Herman heading into turn 4. But here comes Speedball Herman making the blocking move on Craigster Sr. as he's able to hang on to the lead as they come across the line. We're only one lap into this event, and we're already seeing some amazing action on the track as Speedball Herman fought hard to hang on to that lead. But now you have Craigster Sr. sitting there next to him with Wendell Scott in third and Ross Sun God in fourth. We have 5 laps to go. It's lap 2. Speedball Herman leads him as they head down into turn 1, but you have Wendell Scott right there on his tail as he gives him a bump, heading down through the S-turns into turn 2. Then chicane. Wendell Scott goes on the 2 wheels, but he takes the second place spot, but he's falling behind as here comes Speedball Herman. He's going to come across the line in first, followed by Wendell Scott in second, and there's a hard battle, but Craigster Sr. hangs on to that third place spot.
It may have only been for third place, but there was a lot of rabbit going on in that racing.
Absolutely there was as we check out the Merch by Meekin replay camera. Here you see them coming out of turn 4 as Ross Sun God once again using his chrome horn, this time on Craigster Sr. As they come down to the line, Craigster Sr. hangs on to his spot, but Uncle Elvis is able to steal a spot away from Ross Sun God. And after falling back to third place on lap 1, Wendell Scott is now back up into the second place position, where he will be challenging for the lead against Speedball Herman. Will Speedball Herman be able to hold him off, or will Wendell Scott be able to snatch the lead from him? We have 4 laps to go. It's lap 3. Heading down into the turn 1, it's Speedball Herman, but here comes Wendell Scott already taking lead in turn 1. Oh, he's on 2 wheels as he heads through the S-turn, through the chicane. He's getting a little loose, but here comes Speedball Herman, challenging once again on his rear bumper. Here they come down to the line. It's going to be Wendell Scott coming in first, followed by Speedball Herman, and then you have Uncle Elvis moving up to that third place spot.
Woo! Wendell Scott making some moves in the outside lane and putting down a fast track time.
That he does as we watch a replay camera. Here you see him already challenging for the lead in turn 1 as he's able to take it in the high lane, but he goes into the S-turns. He goes on 2 wheels, but he's able to save it, hanging on to that lead down to the line. With this race halfway in the books, we now have Wendell Scott as your new leader with Speedball Herman sitting there next to him in second place. Now you have Uncle Elvis moving up. He's now in the third place spot with Craigster Sr. sitting there in fourth place. We have 3 laps left to go. It's now lap 4. Wendell Scott gets a good jump as he starts to pull away, heading down into turn 1 as that Speedball Herman and Uncle Elvis fight for second place behind him. Here comes Craigster Sr. giving Speedball Herman a push as he's banging doors with Wendell Scott, and he's banging his rear bumper as they head down to the line. Can he make the pass? No! Wendell Scott hangs on for first place, followed by Speedball Herman, and Craigster Sr. comes in third.
This battle for the lead just keeps getting hotter and hotter.
That it is, Ricky, as we watch the Merch by Meekin replay camera. Here you see them heading down in the turn 2 as Craigster Sr. gives Speedball Herman a nice shove as you watch Wendell Scott going on the 2 wheels, losing a little momentum. Speedball Herman starts banging on the side of Wendell Scott as they head down in the turn 3. But that's not enough as Wendell Scott tries to make a blocking maneuver. Here comes Speedball Herman once again beating on Wendell Scott's back bumper as they head down in the turn 4. As they head down the super stretch, it gets even better as Wendell Scott hits the wall. Here comes Speedball Herman trying to make the pass, but it's too late as Wendell Scott hangs on to that lead as the other drivers file in behind him. As Cousin Ricky said, things are getting hotter and hotter as Speedball Herman is doing everything he can to pass Wendell Scott, but now he has a new pusher behind him as InCount has moved up into the 4th place spot. Will that be enough to give him the edge? It's only one way to find out as lap 5 is now underway. Down the backstretch they go into turn 1 is Wendell Scott with a nice fight for the second place behind him. Here comes Speedball Herman with a head of steam as he takes lead into turn 2 as he makes a blocking mover out of the chicane. Oh, it looks like Wendell Scott gets turned around. Here comes Speedball Herman down to the line. Oh, he's a little tripped up, but he comes across the line first, followed by Wendell Scott in second, and then InCount moves up into 3rd place.
Looks like InCount was exactly the drafting partner that Speedball Herman needed to take the lead.
It would seem so, as here we have the emergency crews for the first time down on the track, pulling these cars away from each other. Watch a replay camera as you see them coming out of turn 4. You see Wendell Scott pushes InCount down into the tire barrier, but InCount's able to save it, but Raw Sun God gets the worst of it as he gets turned sideways and then pushed down the track by Craigster Sr. as they all come to a stop before the line. This is it, folks. Up until this point, it's been all the Speedball Herman and Wendell Scott show as they have been battling back and forth. But now you have new challengers as InCount has moved up into that 3rd place spot with Raw Sun God right there next to him. Will either one of them be able to challenge for the lead, or will the 2 up front be able to hang on? Only one way to find out as the white flag is out. 1 lap to go. Down the backstretch they go, and it's a huge jump by both leaders as Speedball Herman hangs onto the lead. Here comes Wendell Scott right behind him as he's given a push by Ron Sonic.
Yeah!
Huge trouble! In count goes around as here comes Speedball Herman.
Oh,
Break away. Oh, he flips upside down. He gets slammed as they come across the line.
How about that for a spectacular finish?
Speedball Herman comes across the line upside down as the other cars trailing behind him.
And while that's going down, my Appalachian Wee-Woo crew is checking in on in-count upside down in turn 3.
And that alone has me fearing for his safety as we watch the replay camera. Here you see him enter into turn 3. His car just cannot handle the speed as he rolls end over end. Watching one more time, he rolls the car, almost slamming into the side of the tire pit as you watching him one more time from another angle, rolling over. Here come the other cars, slamming into him as they slide down the stretch, heading into turn 3. As we zoom out, you see them enter into the turn as Uncle Elvis is able to get past him, but Craigster Sr. gets stuck behind him as he's able to push in-count around and head down to the line.
Now let's watch a chaotic finish.
Watching Speedball Herman come out of turn 4, his car hits the outside retaining wall. Then the inside retaining wall, as his tires catch, he rolls over. Then he gets slammed by Wendell Scott, who loses momentum, but Speedball Herman is able to come across the line and first upside down. And at the end of the semifinals, Heat Group 1 of the Cousin Ricky presents the Bootlegger Run. Your 3 drivers moving on to the finals. It's gonna be Wendell Scott in 3rd place, followed by Ross Sungod. And your winner of this event, it's Speedball Herman. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, in just a minute.
We welcome you back here to the Cousin Ricky presents the Bootlegger Run Semifinals round.
Sponsored by Merch by Meekin.
Heat 1 is done and we have our first 3 drivers moving on to the final round.
Absolutely, and we have one more race to decide who will be our last 3 drivers moving on to the grand finale.
And with yours truly strapping in behind the wheel, we all know it's going to be an amazing race.
Well, speaking of which, shouldn't you be, getting down there into your car?
Oh, yeah, right. Time to go. Bubba Joe, tag in.
Wait, what, Ricky? No, you don't have to. Hi there, Bubba Joe.
Ricky said I brought so much joy and life to the booth, I should do it again.
Yeah, let me do these driver introductions real quick. Starting us off in typical Arlo racing fashion, he dominated round 2 by leading every single lap. In his 1968 Mercury Cougar, it's Bobby Gray. After taking a chrome horn not once, but twice in round 2, he was able to fight his way back for a win. For Bootleggers Are Us, it's Cousin Ricky. After a hard-fought battle for lead in round 2, he earned a well-deserved 2nd place finish. For Ironbeard Customs, it's James Ironbeard. In round 2, he fought off challenger after challenger battling for the lead, but unfortunately came up with a 2nd place finish. For Grumpy Cloud Racing, it's Grumpy Cloud. Since round 1, he's been playing it safe, riding around in the mid pack, but making it count on the last lap. For Merch by Meekin, it's Gringo Loco. After dominating round 1, he came in some trouble in round 2, but was able to come up with a 3rd place finish. For Karmic Racing, it's Hades. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, your final group for the Cousin Ricky presents the Bootlegger Run Semifinals. Now I know you've had enough waiting, so let's get down for the racing. We have 3 pony cars versus 3 classics to decide who will be moving on to the final round, as Bobby Gray and Cousin Ricky are on the front, with James Ironbeard and Grumpy Cloud in the middle, and Gringo Loco and Hades in the rear, as we have 6 laps to determine who's moving on to the finals. Lap 1 is now underway. Down the backstretch for the first time into turn 1, it's Bobby Gray with Cousin Ricky right there on his tail as they head down into turn 2. Here comes Cousin Ricky. Oh! Cousin Ricky hits the wall into the chicane as Bobby Gray is now all alone as Grumpy Cloud takes 2nd. Here to come down to the line. And it's going to be Bobby Gray coming in first as both Grumpy Cloud and Hades comes across the line backward.
I see once again we're already off to another chaotic start.
A chaotic start indeed as we check out that track time. Let's go and check out the cars down there in turn 3 as Cousin Ricky is on his side being checked out by his own Appalachian Wee-Woo crew. Let's check out the replay, seeing exactly what just happened as Cousin Ricky goes into turn 2. It looks like his car just slightly comes off the track and he hits the outside wall heading into the chicane. Watching one more time, you see him coming around. His car lifts up, he hits the wall, and he gets slammed around. Watching from another angle, he hits the wall, he gets bounced around, then he gets slammed by all the other drivers as they get sliding through the chicane. Cousin Ricky is on his side with nowhere to go as you see here come the other drivers pushing him down as no one is able to get past him as they come to a stop.
I can only imagine what Cousin Ricky is thinking right now. Heck, if he can even think.
That was one heck of a hit, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had a little bit of whiplash going on.
What's that term he really likes to use every time a big hit happens? Mushy brain?
Don't tell him you said that, as lap 2 is now underway. As they head down to the turn 1, it's going to be Bobby Gray with a nice lead over Grumpy Cloud and Hades, as Cousin Ricky is giving Grumpy Cloud a push, but Bobby Gray is still starting to pull away. Oh, he gets a little loose in the turn 3 as the other drivers are starting to try to catch up. Bobby Gray is going to come across the line first, followed by Grumpy Cloud in second, who gets turned sideways by Cousin Ricky as they all come across the line.
That Bobby Gray is really showing his strength.
That he is, as he puts down a track time of 15.271 seconds. As we watch the replay camera, here you see him going into turn 3. His car gets turned sideways as you watch the battle behind him for a second, as Grumpy Cloud gets turned sideways as Cousin Ricky gives him the chrome horn, trying his best to get past him, but Grumpy Cloud is blocking him all the way down there as Hades tries to make the pass too. As they come down the final stretch, Cousin Ricky gets underneath Grumpy Cloud as they tries to make the pass, but Grumpy Cloud holds them off as they come down to the line.
They keep fighting like that, and Bobby Gray's just going to pull away.
Well, Bobby Gray hanging on to that lead, but he has Cousin Ricky now behind him, giving him a push, but Grumpy Cloud now has Hades behind him. Will that be enough to get Grumpy Cloud up ahead of Bobby Gray? Only one way to find out, as we have 4 laps left to go. It's now lap 3. Down to backstretch they go, and Bobby Gray gets a huge launch as he is pulling away from the other drivers, as Cousin Ricky and Grumpy Cloud are now fighting for second place behind him as they're beating doors. Bobby Gray gets a little loose as here comes Cousin Ricky with a head of steam, but Bobby Gray is able to hang on to it down to the line. It's going to be Bobby Gray coming across the line at first, followed by Cousin Ricky as Grumpy Cloud is bouncing off the walls like a pinball, as here comes Gringo Loco and Ironbeard down the line.
Bobby Gray came out of the gate like a rocket sled on rails.
That he did, as he puts down another fast track time of 15.308 seconds. As we watch the Merch by Meekin replay camera, here you see at the back of the pack tons of racing action going on between Hades, Gringo Loco, and James Ironbeard as they all get clammed together as they head down the super stretch heading out into turn 4. Ironbeard is unable to break free from Gringo Loco as they get slowed down, but Hades is able to continue on down to the line. As we switch up the angles and go back to the chicane, here you see Bobby Gray going up on the 2 wheels, as now behind them you have Grumpy Cloud and Cousin Ricky fighting for second place as they're beating doors. Bobby Gray gets loose heading into turn 3. Cousin Ricky sees the opportunity. He tries to catch up, but Cousin Ricky gets loose himself as he starts bouncing off the walls. Bobby Gray takes advantage of this as he tries to pull away. Behind him, Cousin Ricky and Grumpy Cloud now fighting for second as Cousin Ricky puts a blocker maneuver on Grumpy Cloud as Grumpy Cloud starts bouncing all over the place as he's able to come across the line in third, and then here you see Hades coming across the line in fourth. We're 3 laps in, and so far Bobby Gray has led every single lap, but now Cousin Ricky has moved back up into the front row. He's on the outside second position as you have Grumpy Cloud sitting there in third with Hades in fourth. Can anybody knock off Bobby Gray as we have 3 laps left to go? It's lap 4. Once again, Bobby Gray gets another great launch as he has a low down there in turn 1 as Cousin Ricky is trying to pull alongside of him as he does through turn 2 and the chicane. He gets Bobby Gray a tap as he gets loose in turn 3. Now Cousin Ricky is loose in turn 3 as he gets a tap from Grumpy Cloud as they come down to the line. It's going to be Bobby Gray as Grumpy Cloud gets Cousin Ricky a push, but he comes across the line in second, followed by Grumpy Cloud as the other cars start to roll behind him.
It looks like we had some trouble down there in turn 4 with Ironbeard.
Cars are bouncing all over the track as we check in on that fast track time put down by Bobby Gray as we check in on James Ironbeard on his side down there in turn 4 as he's being checked out by the emergency crews. Let's check out the Merch by Meekin replay camera as here you see Cousin Ricky pulls alongside Bobby Gray as they head through the chicane. Bobby Gray gets on 2 wheels as Cousin Ricky tries to give Bobby Gray a tap as they head down the turn 3. Bobby Gray gets loose as Cousin Ricky gives him a bump as they head down out of the turn. Cousin Ricky gets loose as he now gets a tap from Grumpy Cloud as Bobby Gray starts to pull away. Grumpy Cloud now taking advantage of the situation. He tries to get past Cousin Ricky heading into turn 4 down the final stretch. As Cousin Ricky makes a block, he gets turned sideways as he gets pushed by Grumpy Cloud as they come across the line. In the background, you see James Ironbeard rolling on his side. As we watch the turn 3 camera, here you see him heading into the turns as all the cars are getting tangled up as Gringo Loco, Hades, and Ironbeard are once again getting all tied up as they head down in the turn 4. But unfortunately, Ironbeard gets the worst of it as he rolls onto his side, unable to finish a lap. A tough break once again for James Ironbeard.
Tough for Ironbeard, but Loco got the best of it.
That it is. Now Loco has moved up into that 4th place spot, now within striking distance of Cousin Ricky, as Bobby Gray is still your leader with Grumpy Cloud sitting there in 3rd place spot. We have 4 laps completed as we have 2 laps left to go. It's now lap 5. It's tight as they head down in the turn 1, but Bobby Gray has the edge, but he's unable to break free from the other drivers. Here comes Cousin Ricky with a head of steam as he takes the lead through the chicane. Oh, Gringo Loco gets in trouble. Here comes Cousin Ricky. He gets turned around. Here comes Bobby Gray giving Cousin Ricky a tap as it comes down to the line. Cousin Ricky is going to be your new leader with Bobby Gray in second, and Gringo Loco has moved up into third.
A lead change, and it's Cousin Ricky.
And Cousin Ricky puts down a fast track time as we watch the Merch by Meekin replay camera. Here you see Gringo Loco goes way on two wheels as he comes out of the chicane, but he's able to hang on to it as he puts a block on Grumpy Cloud. As we watch Cousin Ricky coming out of turn 3, his car gets turned around backwards as he's now looking into the eyes of Bobby Gray as Bobby Gray comes in and gives Cousin Ricky a tap as they come down to the final stretch. Cousin Ricky now looking at his rear view mirror as he's able to hang on to it as he comes across the line in first.
I don't suppose you think Cousin Ricky did that whole spin thing as a way to showboat, do you?
Oh, knowing Cousin Ricky, that was definitely a taunt as he is now your leader with Bobby Gray for the first time sitting in second place. Also for the first time, you have Gringo Loco sitting there in third. You have Grumpy Cloud in fourth as these drivers will be fighting head-to-head to be determining who's going to be moving on to the finals round. It's the last lap. The white flag is out. It's one lap to go. Down they go for the last time into turn 1. It's tight between Cousin Ricky and Bobby Gray as they head to the entrance. Here comes Bobby Gray with a head of steam into the chicane. Oh, Bobby Gray gets turned sideways. He gets collected by Cousin Ricky. Now he's collected by Gringo Loco as Cousin Ricky is starting to pull away. He's going to come across the line in first, followed by Gringo Loco coming across the line in second.
But now the question is, who came in third place?
That is the big question as we have a huge pileup down there at the entrance to turn 4 as we check out that track time. Let's go down and take a look as it looks like Bobby Gray is going to be sitting at the front of the pack upside down as he is being helped out by the emergency crews. Let's watch a replay as you see Bobby Gray makes a move on Cousin Ricky as they head down in turn 2. As they go into the chicane, you see Bobby Gray takes a turn just a little too hard as he rolls over on two wheels. He loses control of the car as he gets collected by Cousin Ricky, rolling onto his backside. Then he gets collected by Gringo Loco as they head down into turn 3. It looks like Gringo Loco is able to make it past him as Cousin Ricky is able to break away. Changing up the angle, heading down into turn 3, you see Cousin Ricky breaks free as Gringo Loco is trying his best. They get past Bobby Gray, but Bobby Gray's car just will not get out of the way as all the other drivers are now collecting up behind him. As they head down to turn 4, Gringo Loco finally gets some luck as he's able to break free as he's able to continue on down to the line. And as we come to the conclusion of the semifinals of the Cousin Ricky Presents the Bootlegger Run, your drivers moving on to the final rounds. It's going to be Bobby Gray in third place with Gringo Loco for the first time coming in second place. And your winner of this event, it's Cousin Ricky. These drivers moving on to the final round. Well, this is it, ladies and gentlemen. It all comes down to this. You have Speedball Herman, Cousin Ricky, Gringo Loco, Raw Sun God, Wendell Scott, and Bobby Gray. These are your drivers moving on to the Cousin Ricky Presents the Bootlegger Run Finals.
And Cousin Ricky is back in the booth. It's time to celebrate down in the Cousin Ricky Moonshine Van.
Well, while y'all are down there celebrating, let me give a big shout out and thank you to James Ironbeard, Grumpy Cloud, Hades, Greg's Senior, Incount, and Uncle Elvis for being great participants in this event. We appreciate you guys being here. Although you may be going home, it is your contributions to this channel that make the racing great, and we appreciate every bit of it. And speaking of appreciation, we'd like to give a big shout out and thank you to all of you watching at home. And if you love the content you've seen, as always, please remember to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and don't forget to comment and share as we bring you more exciting racing action here from the old Yadkin Valley Speedway, home to the Winston-Salem Racing Series and the Funkhauser Diecast Racing League.
And as always, don't forget to visit Merch by Meekin. Merch by Meekin is your headquarters for all your custom metal diecast signs and much more. Don't forget to check out the custom merch and personal gift ideas too. Merch by Meekin. Gotta love those signs.
And as always, want to give a big shout out and thank you to all the members of the Funkhauser Fan Club. We appreciate you guys as always for your continuing support and helping our channel grow, as it is your continuing support that helps us make improvements to the racing action. And if you're not a member of the Funkhauser Fan Club yet, please consider joining us and helping our channel grow. All contributions help to improve our content so we can provide you with better entertainment. Well, that's enough talking from me. I hope to see you guys next time in the final round. Take it away, Ricky.
It's the Cousin Ricky Presents the Bootlegger Run!
Wait, what the? Why is Mr. Dark down there at your van? Ricky! Ricky!